said I'd give you an example of how to take care of the bag once it was emptied with water and try to keep as hands-free as possible. Now, I usually have 2 gloves on, but I took one off so I could start the camera. I don't have a remote start yet. But here's the bag. I've already emptied out the water as best I could. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to get this. I would take my other glove hand and work it up here, try to get all that air out. And then taking the other hand, I'm going to pull the glove over. Ta-da! And it's all done. Let me go ahead and give you a couple of things that will be helpful before you begin this process. One of the things I make sure that I do is I have a garbage can close and open. That way, as I need to throw things away, it's right there. I'm not having to go from one end of the kitchen to the other and drag things and drip things that I don't want all over the floor. The other one is to make sure that you've got something on the counter that you can end up just wadding up and throwing away. What I've used in the past, and we ran out of it. I tell you, we went shopping and we completely blew it. We should have gone through our cupboards better. But what I have found to be really helpful is to take plastic wrap, wet the countertop just a little bit, take some plastic wrap, put it down, that wetness helps stick it, lay them on top of there. That way you've got a nice surface where the turkey or the chicken that you're working with, or even if you're doing ribs or something else, won't end up scooting all around. And then make sure that you have all your other stuff open and ready to go. I've still got dry hands, haven't touched the chicken yet, but I've got my mustard ready with the lid open. I've got my rub ready with the lid open, and I've already cut my butter squares, also ready to use those. So that's all out, ready to open. So once I'm in the middle of it, I don't have to holler for my wife or somebody else to come and get things for me, or they might not be here. And so I would have to deglove, stop, take the time, go get that, pull it out, and then glove back up. And again, just try to be somewhat careful about cross-contamination or leaving this stuff laying hidden as a secret IED, botulism IED somewhere around the kitchen. And so again, a good way for us to make sure that we've got everything ready before we get going. And why do I know this? Because I've done it the wrong way. All of this stuff has been learned by experience. Now I'm going to start with the back of the bird. I start with the back of the bird because it's the part of the bird that I'm really the least concerned about making sure that the rub is on. And so if I start with the breasts and the large part of the bird that I'm going to work with, when I flip it over, I lose a lot of that stuff because it's the last thing down. And so I start with the back up and get it taken care of, get it rubbed, get the mustard on it, and then I can flip it over and end up saving the best part for last, and I lose the least amount of rub and mustard and baste and everything for that. So we're going to go ahead and then just start with a little bit of mustard, and we're going to get that rubbed on this side. Sometimes I get a little too much on, at least my wife says I do. I've never noticed. I love mustard, and so you can't have too much mustard. Make sure you get a little bit of that on the inside. I try to keep a clean hand at least while I'm doing this part. Then go ahead and get that rub on there. Now the rub that I'm using, I've bought at Cabela's. We have Cabela's about 5 to 10 minutes away depending on traffic. This is just basically a garlic pepper rub, garlic pepper salt rub. I found these to be the best for poultry, chicken, turkey. A darker, redder rub that you usually use for steaks or beef or pork or things like that. I've actually tried, I've seen others do it, but preferentially I don't like it. And so make sure that you also get some of this rub actually down into the bird. With a whole bird, this is a little bit more difficult, but since I'm working with just a turkey breast, it's a lot easier. We're going to go ahead and just flip that over now. Try to keep this hand clean. And I'm going to go ahead and put my butter pats in. Now I know, you might say, well, isn't this overkill? I don't know, maybe. It could be overkill, but you know what? These birds come out tasting so stinking moist and so stinking flavorful that who's going to complain, right? They taste really, really good. Now open that bird up just a little bit. Get that all separated from the actual meat. Be able to get that butter back in there a little better. Now I've let this butter sit out a little bit this morning, and so it's gotten a lot softer than I want to. If it's still a little cool, that's good, because it's a little easier to get back into the underneath the skin and against the meat without having to mess too much. Now, I've got my hand all dirty, and I would usually go ahead and pull this off, and I've already violated one of the things that I said that you shouldn't do. My gloves are sitting all the way over there. So I'm going to drop this glove, go over there, get my gloves, then come back and continue. So if you hang on just for a moment, we'll go get those gloves and keep working away. See, I told you I was right. All right. We'll do the best we can without getting that hand too icky. Again, we'll put mustard on this side. Can never have too much mustard. Now some people do this with, depending on the flavor profile they'll want, they'll use a honey water wash. I've even heard of some using mayonnaise. I haven't tried that one yet. Not afraid of it, but haven't tried that yet. And we'll get this rub on here pretty liberally. Try to also maybe get some up in here. I've already got that hand all messed up now. Alright, so this bird is ready to go. I'm going to transfer this onto a cookie sheet. I'm going to take it out to the smoker. We'll get things started with the smoker. We'll give you some instructions out there, and we'll see how things come out in about 3+ hours. Alright, we'll see you outside in front of the smoker. So we're ready to get the turkey into the smoker, and we've got a number of things prepped just like inside that we want in order to make sure that we're not scrambling for things afterwards. And as you've already seen, it doesn't matter how hard you prep, unless I have a checklist, you're going to maybe forget something. So I've got a workspace, a work table, I've got my smoker up and going, I've got some gloves that I can use to grab a hold of the turkey when it's hot. I know it doesn't look clean, but man, I've scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and that's as clean as she gets. I've got my turkey, I've got my wood chips soaking in water, and then I've got also my wood chip tray. I already have my humidifier full and going. I've got my smoker preheating. I've got my gloves. I also have my some aluminum foil. Now that's more important when I'm doing ribs and things, but I've got that just in case I need it for some reason. And I've got my trash container. Now you're going to want to cook this turkey at 250 degrees, approximately 250 degrees, for about 3 hours. I'm shooting for an internal temperature of 165 degrees, so it just depends how long it's going to take. Especially in a day like today, it's kind of chilly out, and so it's going to take more time to keep this smoker up to temp. Matter of fact, hey Siri, how cold is it outside? So Siri said, brr, it's 32. So it's a little chilly today. So we're going to have to work to keep this smoker up to temp. But we'll keep coming back to this throughout the smoking process. We'll let you see it. We'll let you see how it's going. I've got a thermometer out here to take an internal temp. And again, we're going to put this in here, keep it at about 250 degrees. Anywhere between 225 to 275 is fine. 250 is probably optimal. Also, I'm not going to be putting wood chips on this for the entire time. I'm actually going to be getting this turkey cooking for a while, and then I'm going to throw wood chips on in about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to have a smoking process happen. The chips will die down, and then probably the last 1 hour or 45 minutes or so, I'm going to throw some more chips on and smoke it one more time. If you smoke it the entire time, you're actually going to end up giving it a very poor flavor. And so we want to try to avoid that. And so we're going to continue to wait for this to come up to temp, and then we're going to get it in at 225, and then we're not going to look at it. The more you keep opening it and looking at it through the process, you're going to end up losing heat. You're going to have to get your smoker back up to temp, and it's just going to elongate how long everything's going to take. So I know it's hard to trust. That was one of the most difficult things. Some guys like to have glass so they can see what's going on. That model was a little bit more expensive for me. I couldn't afford it at the time. Just trust what's going on inside there, and it'll take care of itself. Trust me, all right? And so we're getting pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and put the turkey in right now, and then we'll show you each step of the process when I come back, when I put chips on to begin the smoking process. And then when it's getting close to the end, we'll see how things are going. We will open the door, take a look, and probably take a temperature check, and then put some more chips on for smoking on the last part of it. So let's go ahead and get it into the smoker. I've got a secondary thermometer in here because I found it to be much more accurate than the thermometer on the front of the smoker that came. Also, I'm going to put breast side up, back side down, because we don't want this to dry out or to get ruined in any way. This is where all the money meat is, in a sense. So I'm going to get that on there, put it on the highest rack, and just leave it alone for a while. Get these cleaned off. Another way to make sure that your smoker stays up to temp, check the damper on it. My damper is wide open. If I get this shut, the heat will come up very quickly on it. All right, we'll bring you back out when we're ready to put the first set of chips on and to get it smoking. All right, because of how cool it is today, we've really struggled at trying to keep our smoker up to temp. I've had it at about 225. It's been running almost at its top level for flame, and so I've delayed putting my chips in for about 45 minutes. But we're going to go ahead and put the chips in on the fire and get some smoke going. The smoke that you see right now is just kind of a residual smoke based on the stuff that just is on the side of the smoker. That's what gives it its extra flavor. So let's go ahead and put these chips on. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll let these chips all burn up, burn down. We won't touch it, and we'll come back out probably in about another hour, and we'll start checking the temp on the inside of the turkey and see how it's doing in this colder weather today. All right, about 35 minutes ago, I came out and I checked the smoker to see if it was keeping up the temp, and that was about 20 minutes after putting on the chips that I showed you just a moment ago in the video. And I was concerned about whether the chicken breast was, or excuse me, the turkey breast was getting cooked quick enough. It's been taking a long time. Again, it's been a very cool day today. It started out at 32 degrees. And so I went ahead and I checked the breast temperature, and it was at 135 degrees, which actually wasn't too bad. But I went ahead and took the turkey and flipped it and put it onto the breast side down and the back side up to see if I could get the temperature cooking maybe a little bit more quickly and thoroughly. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to flip the turkey back onto its back and take an internal temp again and see where we're at, and possibly put on a second round of wood chips to smoke with. That's looking really, really good. I don't know if you can see the color of that right now. typical hazard, all that good stuff I just lost. All right, let's take an internal temp and see where we are at. Alright, we're getting a little closer. Looks like we're quickly approaching 154 degrees internal temp. So we're going to go ahead and put on some more smoke right now and let it cook for about another 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll come back out and we'll check it again. I think I'm also going to add some more water to our dripping tray. We've got some wonderful drippings there that I think my wife might be able to use to make gravy, and so we'll get that taken care of. All right, we'll get that closed up and then we'll bring you back in a little bit. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and check the temp on this one more time and see if it's just about finished. All right, looks like it's at 168 degrees, so we are good. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off, get a pan ticketed inside, and then give you a close-up shot of what this looks like. Okay, we want to give you a quick look at the inside of this. As you can see over here, we've already taken the juices from the drip pan outside and strained them out, and they're gonna make a nice gravy. But we'll just give you an idea of what this looks like on the inside. Wow, doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. And I wish you could smell it, and I wish you could taste it, because the flavor of a smoked chicken and or turkey is absolutely amazing. Won't get anything as moist as that. All right, thanks for being with us, and you have a great day.